This is Lauren.
This is Trey.
And this
is the Partnership Podcast. On this week's episode, Lauren and I wouldn't even call it a disagreement, but we had a discussion and then we celebrated the fact that we did a pattern change where we didn't go to our old behaviors. And then we talked about how important it is to celebrate the little wins. Enjoy.
Because baby, you're firework.
We live for another podcast. Fist away, motherfuckers.
You can do this, babe. You can do this.
I can sit and talk to my wife.
No, you can keep your mouth close to a
Microphone, we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just that I have more practice.
Well, you have the good mic stand now, too.
Keeping my mouth close to things.
Ew, babe, don't talk about sex stuff.
Not me.
Not you.
Not me. Good morning, babe.
Good morning.
Happy 4th of July.
Yeah, it's actually July the 4th today as we're recording this.
Yeah, this won't go out until whatever Monday of next week is. Uh-huh. It's too far away for me to think about at the moment.
What are you thankful for as far as your independence?
It's a hard question these days.
Okay.
I am thankful for this and us and yeah. I don't want to get into too much of that.
Okay.
Right now.
Too much of that? This is the place that we actually get into too much of that.
We were talking about this a little bit yesterday, right? It kind of feels like we're going backwards a little bit. So like it's hard, especially as a person with a uterus, especially to wake up every day in this country because you never know like who's voted overnight to overturn something else in another place. And as a pleasure activist, I try not to dwell on it too much because I actually do think it's bad for our nervous systems. And unless I can be a part of the solution, I don't like to perseverate on it. And I was in advocacy work for a really long time, like at the state level. And it was really exhausting. It was really exhausting to make such headway, under one political party and then to have everything we did get overturned. That was really hard. It's really hard to see all the like games behind the scenes. So
you don't trust that mostly male politicians over 60 know what's best for your body?
It's not. Yeah, it's really hard. I grew up thinking
too. Do you want to just trust better? Like, do you want to just do a better job of trusting?
Right. Do you know that
they know what's best for you?
It's always such a great thing when you put it in a jokey form, especially as a, what do you call you, Sal? An SMW?
SMW.
Yeah.
Straight male white.
Sitting across from me, it's always great. It's really healing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a really good comedy bit.
Shout out to the SBWs, everybody in between. Shout out to the gay men. If you're transitioning from female to male, welcome aboard. Oh, the benefits. Mwah. You're all welcome because we have to keep these women down.
In our place.
They're getting pretty lippy again. And you know what happens.
It's interesting, isn't it? That's kind of what I've been working on right now is kind of unleashing my sacral power, like this thing that was smushed in me. And I think every layer of the onion that I peel back on that one, I go, oh, that's why they wanted me to be quiet. Because my body in its most sensual has like a life-giving power. And yeah, and it's free and it's not meek and it's not small and it's really powerful and yeah, just interesting. Anyway, what are you thankful for on this 4th? Do you have a joke?
No, I don't have a joke. No, not everything's... That's weird. Why did you start it with, do I have a joke?
Second half set, baby.
My disdain for the British is nothing to laugh about. So a couple hundred years ago, they tried to tell us what's what. And then we give them what for. And just let that be a lesson to... everybody on that side of the ocean to stay out of our fucking business. That's what I'm most thankful for. Mm-hmm. And fireworks. I like fireworks and I like alcohol. Yeah, getting high, golf. I'm thankful for that. My 2017 Hyundai Elantra.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to the boys, our South Korean friends. That's it. Sex, working out, push-ups, pull-ups. I think that's it.
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th of July.
Those are the freedoms you enjoy.
He is risen. Wait, hold on. My bad.
It's Easter. Yeah, just an interesting holiday. We don't need to unpack it on this one. No, that is not the point of this. Although I think it's good when we all reflect. Yeah. I grew up in a world where America was almost like a form of spirituality that was wrapped into our faith. So it's a weird holiday for me too. We were just saying God bless America on these days, and it was what I've come to know is like Christian nationalism. I didn't even know this was a thing as a kid though. When you're growing up in it, you're like, oh, this is normal that we all like worship the United States of America. So I think I am.
We got it all figured out here. Makes sense.
And so anyway, today's a mixed holiday for me. It was a lot of like, this is the Lord's holiday. Like, we came to this country to celebrate our spiritual freedoms, our religious freedoms. And never was I told any of the like colonization stories. Never was I told any of the stories of what we did to the people who were on this land before we got here, right? Like, that wasn't a part of the conversation. And so, and especially in this area of the country, I mean, I know you're from California, so you don't quite have the stories like I do, but like, we are, I don't know, a couple 100 miles away from like literally the center of it all, like where they landed. And anyway, it just still feels really weird to me. Like, I was just told a lot of lies as a young person. So
I was told a lot less lies as a young person.
Yeah, which is fascinating.
But I was probably told a lot of lies, but just a lot.
And I was told not to trust your kind.
The kind from California? Well, that's true. So my kind really can't be trusted with much. So not everything was inaccurate.
It's funny that you like fireworks though, because you don't like loud noises.
Yeah. This is a hot podcast so far. Tell me if you like fireworks. Do you like fireworks, Trey?
Is there anything you want to talk about? Anything? I think we handled something really well last night, the drive back and wanting to. You didn't lash out at me.
No. Well, when do I lash out at you?
In times where your nervous system's over. It's not lash out. Mm-hmm. I think that's what you want me to say. You want me to stroke your ego a little bit.
Well, you don't. No, I want you to be accurate. I don't want you to stroke my ego. But like, when do I lash out at you?
You don't lash out. I use the wrong words. You're like, thanks, strike it from the record.
If I lash out at anybody, it's myself. So I will get so angry at myself. I learned at a very young age. I got to get it modeled from my mother. Anger and rage, but she would lash out at whoever was in the way. She lost a lot of friends. I remember throughout like childhood, like close friends, and they all just got kind of cycled through because eventually it went to that. And I saw how damaging, and I got it too. I couldn't go anywhere. So I saw how damaging it was. So I don't do that to other people because I learned from a very young age that people will get the fuck away from you.
Okay, this is what you used to do.
I'll get quiet. Yeah, go ahead, baby.
Yeah. Is you would become, your nervous system gets used to, I mean, this is what I want to talk about is the difference of last night. Your nervous system used to get so heightened and so on edge that one could tell you were trying so hard not to lash out at others. And there wasn't any communication of what was really going on. So it was just like that, like, well, let's just stay on the periphery so as not to upset you more. Mm-hmm. Last night you did this thing. We were driving home from somewhere else in Virginia and a crazy storm came. But even before the storm, it was dark. And it's like the moment we got in the car and it was dark, I remembered that the last time we drove in the dark, you said, I quote, "I am never doing this again. Mm-hmm. I don't like driving in the dark. It is stressful. I don't want to ever do this again. And I remember saying, totally fine. We don't ever have to do this again. We'll plan better. Both you and I did not plan better yesterday. We forgot. We could have communicated better. Mm-hmm. And so in my mind, my nervous system on the side of the car is like, oh no, fuck. I remember. He said he didn't want to do this. And like, I started to go to self-blame.
Yeah.
And then I sunk into that the reason we were leaving later is because we did something that I had wanted to do that day. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to do better about this of like, no, my needs, wants, and desires don't come last. They are equal. Yeah. This could have just been communicated about differently. Absolutely. And I was sitting there, you didn't know this, on the other side of the car, trying to find the right words to own up for the fact that I realized that you didn't want to be driving in the dark. And it came upon me. Mm-hmm. But also not wanting to apologize for taking what everybody had said I could take from time, from people. Yeah. So I was just sitting there like, Lauren, you do not go to overfunctioning. Mm-hmm. Do not go to self-criticism. Do not go to self-blame. Yes, you could have sacrificed your own want and you guys could have left an hour earlier, but no, sit with it. And then you just you were in stress. You reached your hand out and put it on my leg, which is not something you do in stress usually. Usually you keep in. You don't bring the energy through to me. And you said, baby, I should have communicated better. I don't like driving in the dark. And next time I'd like to leave earlier or something like that. I don't think those were your exact words. Or baby, I should have communicated earlier. I would have liked to have left earlier today. The ownership, the responsibility, the lack of accusatory, the calmness in your system. I don't know if you were stressed the fuck out. You were so patient with yourself, that it opened the door for like beautiful conversation the rest of the way home.
Yeah. And it was still very stressful for me to drive. Yeah.
So stressful.
We had good conversation on the way home. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like a stew. It wasn't a stew fest.
A stew fest.
Yeah, stew fest.
Is it like Oktoberfest?
Mm-hmm. It's when you have a guy named Stu in the back seat. That was dumb.
This could be our best podcast ever.
She laughs at this.
Happy holidays.
That's how you know you got one, when they laugh at your dumb jokes.
I'm just imagining, because you have a friend named that.
Honey, we don't say names on this. Don't sell out Stu.
Oh, sorry. Don't say it. Listen, there's a lot of Stews in the world.
Edit it out.
Yeah, how did it feel to you to change a pattern? You changed a pattern, babe.
Yeah. As soon as it hit like 8 o'clock on these roads, these are like back country roads in Virginia. It's not like driving on a freeway where it's lit and there's cars constantly around you. So it's hard. And then a thunderstorm of thunderstorms hit where we were going like 35 and I had the hazard lights on at certain points because you can't see the marks on the road. And then we dealt with fog and steam. It was just all the shit. And then there's always the possibility of a deer coming and saying hi, and lots of sirens. It was the 3rd, so people were getting out from fireworks shows. I don't even know how they did fireworks shows. It rained so hard for certain points. So all of that compounds, and it's very, very stressful for me, for whatever reason it is. And how did I deal with that? I knew I needed to get in front of it as soon as we started the drive. Because I was like, this is going to fucking suck. And should I say that? No, not necessarily. But I knew it was going to fucking suck. And literally as I started talking to you, that's when it started thunderstorming as well. And yeah, I could have communicated it better before we even left. Where I was like, honey, I want to make sure that we have we're on the same page as far as when we're leaving, because we could have left an hour early and been home before it got dark. Sure. But I know you wanted to do your thing with Jay at the very end. So I anticipated driving in the rain, or excuse me, in the dark, but I just kind of kept it to myself because I put you first. So, and then I just communicated, and that was that. And I thought you did a great job of not overfunctioning. Thank you for offering to drive, but that's not an option. And
tell the people why.
Why? Because I like to lead I enjoy leading the driving in our relationship.
A, because he's a control freak, but B, because I have bad depth perception at the night times. My eyes do some things.
What about in the daytimes, honey?
I don't know.
You have good depth perception in the daytimes?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Why?
No. Huh? I just wanted to check in with you.
You just do not enjoy me driving. I think it's more like a care for me thing. You're like, I will get us more safely from point A to point B than she will.
That's very
And
accurate.
so to get her home safely, she will be in the passenger seat.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I'll be just white knuckling. Uh-huh. And you have a tendency.
I'm really you know honey, what?
You have
we
a
need
tendency
the best friend
to
on
drive
here.
on the right.
I know. That's what
line.
You think, the shoulder.
You have a tendency to basically flirt with going into a ditch for the majority of any type of drive.
I love driving. Just not with you.
Yeah, it's great. Like, and you don't go into ditches that I know of so far.
And the tires are on my car.
They are.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, this is what I want to talk about. And this will be brief, short podcast, but congrats for changing a pattern, because I think we don't give enough credit to the small, minute changes that have to occur in order for us to achieve the end goal. And we focus so much on, I'm not at the end goal. Okay, so you've been talking about patience and joy and curiosity, I think, with golf, with life. What I witnessed last night was a minute pattern change that I firmly believe will someday result in all of the big changes that you are working towards. And we don't celebrate the little wins, because we're like, well, that's not a very big deal, right? A friend of mine got a raise the other day, and it was a good raise. It wasn't all the money they want to make, right? But it absolutely is like a big step forward towards the money they want to make. And we got to celebrate those things. We got to acknowledge them, because one of my favorite quotes is, we celebrate that which we want repeated. Celebrate that which we want repeated. And yeah, I want to celebrate that. We talked about in that moment, hey, next time when we're on our drive to our location, especially if it's like an hour and a half away, like this location, let's talk about the time we want to be home and in bed. Mm-hmm. Let's negotiate that, the return, when we're on our way, when it's neutral territory, when it feels consensual, when everybody's awake.
When there's no stress, when there's no tiredness.
No. And when we can also have the conversation that we ended up having with our good friends about, hey, what is everybody's bucket list set for today? Because then we're all on the same page. I know you're my biggest cheerleader. I know you want me to have the things I want to have too. But we put my thing, the thing that I had said, everybody's things were important. Mine got pushed to the last, right?
That's true. Yeah, you did say that. That's true. Yep.
Yours got done first. You were like, I'm doing it. This is all I wanted, which is great. We just could have put my thing earlier.
Mine was mimosas out the gate.
And it was delightful.
It was nice.
It was so delightful. And yeah, we could have just organized that differently. You know, we could have done that before we went downtown. We could have done that as soon as we got home, before we played games. We were doing everybody's things. We really were. And that was important to me. And I need to work on better saying like, hey, can we do my thing now?
Great.
My thing now.
Yeah.
But yeah, in that moment, driving home, you could have gone to tallying. You could have gone to a little bit of self-righteousness. Like, here I am trying to just get her home. And Lord have mercy, why didn't we leave earlier? She knew I was tired. I knew you were. I felt all the energy coming from me off the couch. Like, I felt it. But you didn't. And you reached out. Yeah. And you made a choice. It was
kind of interesting. Yeah, we were in conflict, but we were touching each other. Yeah. That's something I need to practice more.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like, oh, but like there's literally like an energy connection.
Yeah.
When we do that. And I want to, you know, and you said something too where you go, I'm sorry to have disappointed you. And I had to say, babe, there's no disappointment. There's zero disappointment. This is something in the future. Let's just talk about. Let's talk about, before the day starts.
I did want to own up for whatever was mine to own in that moment. And it was not time to ask questions though, because we were literally in a storm. What could I have taken ownership for in that moment? Because I did feel like I had hurt you. I know you don't like to drive at night.
Yeah.
So I did want to take ownership for my role in the stress. Okay. I didn't want to go to over criticism. No, I didn't want to over function. But I did want you to know I see you, right? I care about you. I care about your nervous system. Is there anything I could have said or could say next time?
Either. Like, brutal honesty, I didn't anticipate it either. I just kind of, like, once it was 8, I was like, oh shit. Like, I got to get on the road. I got an hour left of sunlight. But like it caught me by surprise too.
Okay.
So I didn't anticipate this and I didn't bring it up. Could you have said, hey, we'll do this next time? You could have, but this was one of your things.
No.
And then you made what you wanted to do clear. So ownership? I don't know. I don't think so, honey, because that would have like pissed you off if you left without. You wanted to do tarot cards. Can we say that?
Yeah.
You wanted to do your tarot cards.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Also, we got home. It fucking sucked. God fucking damn it, that fucking drive sucked. Yeah. Like, I didn't sleep well. I had a hard time coming down. I had a hard time falling asleep. I woke up like I had walked 18 holes and played golf all fucking day. I woke up sore, which didn't make any sense. We did no physical activity yesterday. Maybe that was the thing. I didn't stretch. It was very stressful for me, honey. But this is what it is, honey. I don't think you need to own for anything. Okay. I think, in the future, help me to remember if I forget.
Great.
Or help me to say, like, hey, let's plan the before, middle, and after.
Yeah. I think that's a beautiful, and have those conversations about, what are the things each of us would love to see happen today?
Yeah. And it's a great reaffirmation for me that, like, no more. Like, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't think we do drives often enough. We do one like every 3 months maybe. And so I think we forget. We just we've got to like bring that to the top.
I forgot.
Me too. I did remember how tired you get, like how peopled out. So earlier in the afternoon, I thought he would be ready to go now. Like he'd be ready to go home now. Like if I said, hey babe, like, you ready?
After the energy of the games, my energy level was done.
Oh, I thought even before that. I thought like coming back.
Maybe so, yeah.
That that if I had been like, I'm ready to go home. Are you okay? Yeah. You've been like, yeah, let's go. Yeah.
Oh, nothing's better than like canceling plans and leaving early.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing's better.
I had to go into myself. Like, I still had things I want to do.
Good.
Yeah.
But I had a great time.
I know you did.
I wasn't a graphopotamus, right?
No. And games were one of the best parts. They absolutely were one of the best parts.
I wasn't a grumposaurus, right?
No, you were not a grouchosaurus. Yeah. This whole podcast can just be little step, and we can go ahead and wrap it up. And I think this will be a quick little ditty.
Okay.
What's a ditty? Is that something else?
I find you funny.
It's a little dance. A quick little ditty.
Wrap it up, Lauren. Lauren, please.
Don't say Lauren. You can call me Lauren.
Lauren? I don't say that. I say Lauren. I say butter. I've got a deep voice, okay?
Butter? I say butter too.
I say butter, yeah. Honey, I'm getting ready for Broadway, all right?
Don't you dare.
One of our bits is, because like Lauren's involved in the theater, and then I'm not, but I show up to Broadway, and then I get on Broadway before her, something that she's been dreaming about ever since she was a child. And then instead of her like being really happy for me, she's just so pissed off, which I find hilarious. But I'm not actually going to do it.
Broadway calls, you better go.
Nah. They got to come with a bag, babe. And you know what?
They don't really pay that well. No.
They don't pay that well. And like, who the fuck am I, right? It's like, hey, the guy from the fucking podcast on Spotify.
I don't know. You're getting stopped on the street now. Getting stopped on the streets.
That's weird.
I love you.
I love you too.
Any takeaways from yesterday for you? And we'll wrap it up.
I had a great day. It was super stressful at the end of it. And that sucks. But it's what it is. And we talked about it. And then we got through it. But I have to do a better job of avoiding stress. That's on me. That's on me to communicate. And, hard lesson learned. I mainly learn lessons the hard way.
Yeah. I would argue, though, in this world that you want to go into, golf specifically, right? Better golf, you're going to find yourself in stressful situations that you could not have avoided.
Correct.
How you handle them is paramount.
Correct.
You had like a dress rehearsal, Broadway reference, last night. It's going to happen. And how you process through that is literally make or break. We watch every athlete in the world do that. The comeback from the accident, the mental stamina. Okay. I hate it that you had to do that last night, but I was truly impressed with the tools you utilized to move through it, even though you didn't want to be in it. I know you didn't want to be in it. But, I mean, on stage, we have things happen all the time. Like a prop breaks, a costume piece rips. What are you going to do?
Keep moving.
Yeah. Same thing in any sport. How you mentally come back and persevere. I was going to say push through and persevere. Persevere is important. And that's what I witnessed last night. And you've been meditating and doing all this stuff. I just wanted you to know I saw the difference.
Thanks, babe.
That's all. This doesn't need to be like a stroke your fucking ego anymore podcast. You're fine.
I'm going to grip this woman up when we're done with this. Okay. Are we good? I'm going to threaten violence on this woman. Put it on the internet.
I love you.
Love you too, honey.
Have a great day.
Have a great day, babe. Happy 4th.
Move the stress through your system because you deserve it. You deserve it.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Complete those stress response cycles.
I need to start moving right now.
Yeah, we talked about this, I think, last week, the stress response cycle, right? That this is a perfect thing where you just to get high right now and not treat your body well, move this through. It would be, an escapism instead of like a processing through. Yep. But I know you have those tools. I love you. I'm going to say goodbye to the cameras.
Love you too.
Hey, everybody. This is a short and sweet podcast brought to you by a national holiday. If you are interested in figuring out how to be in conflict, in stress, in situations that are stressful with your partner, and want to talk about it with curiosity and intrigue, I would love to work with you and your partner. You can go to www.sexedforyou.com/free consult. This is my passion. This is not how I was raised to handle conflict. We come a long way. I'd love to talk with you. Remember, this is not a how-to podcast. This is a how we podcast. These are our opinions. You can handle your own late night car drives however you'd like to. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.